Okay, so analyze your yard. Right plant, right place. You're going to use tolerant plants and resistant cultivars. You're going to diversify. You want to attract your beneficials and not make trouble. Now, there are a lot of resources out there, and I've just shown you a few. Michael Durr is a very preeminent person on horticulture, and he's done a lot of different books out there. He's got these companion books for cold climes and warm climes that are very good, and in the back of them he has all these lists of drought tolerant, wet plants, herb intolerant, so those two are very good. This, I believe, is out of print. She lives in this area, Deborah Smith Fiola. You can get her book in like used book things online, like I was just checking the other night, like Barnes & Noble and Amazon. You can get them used. It's a little spiral-bound book, and she may be coming out with another one. She has done a lot of experiments on the resistant cultivars that I mentioned, out in trials to make sure that they're working or what's not working. So that is a very good resource there. It lists a lot of plants for our area. Penn State also has a lot of great horticultural fact sheets that you can download. They have dry sites, wet sites, shade tolerant, shrubs, trees, and ground covers. And again, we've all been mentioning the Home and Garden Information Center. They have a lot of the fact sheets there that you can download on care and culture. So those are just a start of the many resources that are out there. Now we have a few minutes. Does anybody have questions? Yes. Your hibiscus. You had something that looked like a moth, and the moth was...
It looked like a moth. It wasn't like that didn't fit on the leaf all the time.
Well, see, if you had a lacy, if something ate your leaf and made it lacy, that's a chewing mouth part. So that's either...
I think it was that slime.
That's a caterpillar or something. Moths don't have chewing mouth parts. They have tubes. They have tubular mouth parts. I mean, you might see an insect that's on a plant. It might have nothing to do with it may be a good guy for all you know. You don't know what it was. I don't know what gets on hibiscus. There are a couple of caterpillars I've seen. I don't know which one, but they're caterpillars. They're not moths. Beetles also, like Japanese beetles will eat hibiscus, so that could be the lacy.
Moths, though, can't eat anything.
No. Moths don't really eat. Yes.
What's a good source for native plants?
A good source for native plants. A lot of the nurseries, just our local nurseries, have a lot of the natives now.
How do you know, though?
How do you know? Well, a lot of times they'll have a tag or a sticker. Do you have something to?
U.S. Wildlife has a guide named Chesapeake Bay.
Yeah, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife. You can get it. You can download it for free. I think it's out of print, but. You can get it online.
There's a free booklet upstairs.
We still have that?
Yes.
Okay. We may have some upstairs, but otherwise you can download it. But that doesn't really give you resources. But I know just locally, Stadler's has it. I've been down to whatever that other one is, down 108 over here. Bankies have it. American Plant Food. I mean, you'll find natives out there, and they usually will say on the tag that they are native.
Unless you find the person. You don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, I know. It's hard. You may not want to just ask somebody because they may not know, It just depends on who you get, whether or not. But, you can do your research, and then you'll have your plant list. And then if you're going to the nursery and you say, well, look, I want Cruzam, the Crusader Hawthorn, then they'll be able to tell you whether or not they have that. Yes?
The Maryland Native Plant Society has, if you go to MD Flora
Mm-hmm.
on the web, they have this on their website.
They have lists of suppliers.
People who provide native plants and other resources.
Okay, so Maryland Natives also has that resource.
Something coming up at the Arboretum that they're having a sale.
Yeah, a lot of, like Brookside Gardens too, a lot of our local arboretums do have plant sales, and a lot of times you can get them there. And Audubon too usually has like native plant vendors at it's like around Earth Day, they usually have like a weekend thing at the Audubon thing in Chevy Chase. Atkins Arboretum.
Going to the beach.
Yeah, it's right over the Bay Bridge. It's not very far. If you've never been to that arboretum, it's beautiful, and they do have a lot of natives there for sale. Yes.
Regarding spider mites,
Yes.
Is there any spray for that?
Well, you can spray for spider mites, of course, and I mean you could use oil for that matter. You can use miticides, but do you want to keep spraying that plant? I mean, are you that married to that one, that spruce, where you could have other ones that don't?
One of the three that gives me a problem.
Hmm.
That was okay.
Well, the one must be a really hot spot. I don't know. What do you think, Eric?
Chainsaw is highly effective. Cut off the base. If you remove the host, you remove the pest. But if you're attached to it, there are some things you can do. You need to do some serious investigation before you get into it.
Yeah.
There are pesticides out there that you can use. Horticultural oils are a little bit touchy on horticultural fruit.
Yeah.
But you just need to do your research. You need to do your IPM research. But it's best to probably consider that was the problematic plant and maybe remove it and replace it with something else that doesn't need that kind of care.
Can't you also spray soapy water on the door helper to spray?
Well, here's the thing about like making soapy water and stuff. It sounds really safe and good and fuzzy, but if you're mixing stuff up yourself, you don't know if that product's been tested. Okay, most pesticides have been tested on plants so that on the label you'll see it'll say don't spray it on this or spray it on that only when it's this temperature. If you go and mix up something, you don't know if you're going to be specifically, your mix is going to be the same. It's not going to be consistent. I mean, you can do a lot more damage than good. So, yeah, you might be able to get away with that, but I don't usually recommend mixing your own. I just don't, because your consistency is not going to be there and you won't have the data. Yes? Dell.
I speak from experience. We once did that to get rid of woolly adelgids on this long line of beautiful hemlocks, 12 feet up. Took all the leaves off. I
Yeah.
had bare branches. And at the time, I wasn't the master gardener. I sent the sample to Steve Dubik and I said, no, we sprayed. Was that all right?
Yeah,
Do it.
yeah, it sounds all nice and easy and safe, but you could do more damage, especially with your conifers and things, because they are a little tricky. That's why, if you research, you'll have to look up the products or the material and see if it's labeled for your spruce, and go from there. But yeah, in general, you can treat for spider mites. Yes.
I have a camellia in a pot and the leaves are curled.
A camellia in the pot and the leaves are curled. Well,
Do I do anything? Is that bad for it? Or?
is it in the house?
No, it's outdoors.
Oh, it's outside?
I mean, it's an outdoor plant, so.
Yeah. Is
It
it?
wasn't doing well in the ground, and so I know.
I see. Well, it might be cold. I mean, it's been really cold, and camellias are, not they're kind of borderline here.
Really bad. I put it in the garage. But
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we could talk afterwards and maybe figure it out. I don't know. Yes, one last question, and then I'll let you guys go.
The deer had eaten the akuba.
Oh, the deer. Yes.
Okay.
A lollipop akuba. Yes, a new cultivar.
So now you got stalks.
Yes.
Did I restart a new shoot somewhere?
Well, you can, but what Eric was pointing out, and it's very true, and you have to remember this, if you're in a high-pressure deer area and you prune aggressively those plants, well, now they're right at mouth level for your deer, and so you may not ever get that plant to grow back to what it was. At least it's a lollipop, but above the browse line, you know what I mean? But if you start lowering that down and making it really good for them, they're just going to eat it down to
Well,
sticks.
if I get rid of the deer or something.
Yeah, and then you can come up and give us a talk on how you're doing that. I mean, it'd be hard to.
My point is, can you restart by putting?
Yes, you can renewal prune.
You can renewal for, I think you might be able to take cuttings, I'm not sure, but I think you can do cuttings of akuba, yeah.
You could do cuttings on akuba too, but you do need to get those deer out.
You can break a certain number of
Fence them, yeah, good luck.
They make a beautiful display in your house, on a roof.
Nice.